guys. Welcome to the 6th episode of my podcast. For those of you that are new, this is a weekly podcast I do with MC5 once a week where I talk to a guest and we talk about a topic and we kind of hear from you guys, see what you guys think, and we go from there. This week I have Crank. For those of you who don't know, Crank was someone who was on my very first episode. Say hey, Crank.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me on today, DulZi.
Oh, no problem, man. Anytime. It's a pleasure. But yeah, we had him on the first stream. For those of you who don't know who he is a PC professional player. And he plays ESL. He does very well. Yeah. Something I'm based on last stream where I tried playing PC. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, he's a PC pro. So going to the topic, we're going to talk about Marauder and how to counter Marauder. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh god, we have a lot to say, and patience. We'll be looking at the chat and seeing how you guys feel about our suggestions. Well, we want to talk about the class and introduce the class, and we also want to talk about ways to counter the class. In all cases in an SB and the different types, and we're going to just describe the classes that work well against Marauder. So, without further ado, what I plan on doing is I plan on showing you guys the actual Marauder class via the MC5 app. So I'll be on iOS right now. And if time permits it, we will open up some scrims on PC and maybe iOS. I'll try the controller this time on PC and see how I do, because I can't do it. I can't do a...
Don't worry, I'll carry you, DulZi. I'll carry you.
I'm sure you will, my friend. Switching to live play, which I'm going to do that in just a second. We are looking at the Discord chat, guys, for those of you who are commenting in the Discord chat. So anything you guys say on there, we will be able to look at. So yeah. Uh-oh, looks like my stream services. Giving me a few issues. That's okay, no problem. So, for those of you who don't know what Marauder is the newest class in MC5, and it is the first dual wielding class for the game. And at first it wasn't so great. I want to say, I don't know. How did you think it was when it first came out? I didn't think many people really talked much about it. Crank, do you?
Well, not a lot of people used it. Basically, whenever a new class drops, it's like people iffy about it. They're like, I don't want to use it. Maybe it's bad. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll get destroyed in the match. They're iffy about it. But then one player uses it, then the other uses it, and then everybody uses it, and it becomes famous.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it wasn't so good until it got buffed, and then it became what it is right now.
Yeah, it got a little buff, and I know it's very distinguishable with its really high rate of fire. That's really what makes it as good as it is. In particular, and not even really the prestige weapons are what make it OP. I mean, the lower tier weapons are also great in this class.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but a few of them are good enough to where you can use them very effectively. I mean, I've played in some lower tier scrims and done not great against people who have the class whenever I don't use it. So I think it definitely For some people, it's definitely overpowered. But we can probably show more than we can tell more. Here we are, and I have it pulled up right here. I don't know why it's so small, but it is small. That's okay. Here we are. All right. So sorry about that, guys. The class is Marauder. The things that really make it really overpowered aren't just the weapons. It's going to be the skill sets associated with the class. Really, all of them are great for SMG type environments. But one in particular, I think, and me and Crank were talking about it a little earlier, about with it, is going to be the Resilient Hunter. And when it's maxed out, it allows you to receive 35% less damage with the first 6 bullets upon respawning. That's pretty huge for a class that you pretty much rush and destroy enemies with. Nothing's really gonna hit you hard and fast with that class, especially when you're right out the gate respawning.
Yeah, basically the first 6 bullets are not gonna like do that much damage compared to the other bullets after those 6.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that make it really, really good. Because a lot of people they'll face like spawn traps and whatnot, and this class kind of helps you break that. You're not if you're stuck in a spawn trap. I mean, you can still do pretty well because you'll be able to just give that first 6 seconds of time where you can recapture the area if enemies around you.
Well, honestly, if your enemy's just using a grinder, he can empty his mag in you pretty fast, so he can finish those 6 bullets pretty quickly.
Right.
And then you're back to 0.
But it opens us, and we'll talk about ways to counter it soon, in just a second. But yeah, no, that's true. But that's definitely a big edge. If 35% less damage is a lot, especially with all the health cores. And as you see here, I'm using Paragon, which is the best armor in the game. Another its ability, the class is increasing its rate of fire. When by 20, actually you can max it up when it's upgraded 25%, with a 10% lower accuracy. However, SMGs aren't really meant to be that accurate, I want to say. So accuracy really isn't going to play that much of a role with this class. So that perk that it has really doesn't have much of a downside for the class, especially if as you see here, you're using a silencer, which I am, which kind of negates that ability. 1 damage point or 2 damage points sounds like a lot, but when your rate of fire is as high as, like, let's say the Hands and Gret at 621, it's not going to do much, and not going to really mean much. So these weapons, although they have that low damage, their rate of fire definitely compensate for it. Something to kind of think about with the class. And I see that it has more headshot damage, which is great. With the high rate of fire, it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to get those headshots. And I don't really want to go through all the weapons in the class, but I see the most ones I've seen nowadays being used are going to be the Hands and Gret, and I also see the ROKK, the Rock, being used. Those are 2 very good weapons that will pretty much mow your enemies down because of their really relatively high rates of fire, and I forgot to also mention the Marauder's ability to reload their clips really quickly, like with a fast reload core when it's maxed out. It's almost like an unlimited clip you're throwing into your enemies. So yeah, any other thoughts on introducing Marauder?
I mean, you've covered it pretty good. There's nothing else to talk about.
I know it.
All I want to say is that, like, not a lot of people like this class. I feel you guys. I don't like it either.
Oh man. Do I like playing against it? No. Do I like using it?
It's
Kinda.
fun to use.
Yeah,
But it's not fun being on the receiving end.
it makes you feel like
Let's just get that out of the way.
it makes you feel pretty cool, man, using it, kind of like a badass.
It makes you feel like a pro. That's for sure.
It does for sure. Yeah, because you're just
I
mowing
mean, you're
enemies
mowing,
down.
you're mowing down people fast.
Yeah, really fast, especially in lower lobbies. So we're gonna start with ways to counter the class. Really, there aren't too many ways to counter the class if you don't have skill. So you've got to have.
It's a pretty hard class to counter. Like you would have, it's a challenge basically for pros. It's a really big challenge for pros to like counter and run away from,
Absolutely.
or like try to kill.
So the first class I'm gonna probably talk about is gonna be assault, because I use assault every now and then. Specifically the grinder. The grinder has a pretty ridiculous rate of fire, as you guys can see, 984, and very good damage. And with assault, it increases the damage even further. You can do really well against Marauders with this weapon. But just because of the damage point and the rate of fire, like I said earlier, I was just reading the comment. Someone's adding on that we can counter Marauder using skill, and that's true. Or the Vice. We'll get to that. Sniper, for sure. But I think that the only weapon that really does well against the Marauder in terms of the assault class is going to be the Grinder, just because it really outclasses all the other assault rifles, at least at the moment. And I think with the introduction of the new kill streak, I don't know if have you tried using the new kill streak yet, Crank, or do you not have it?
I did unlock all of them, but I didn't get the chance to use all of them. I didn't get the chance to use any of them, actually.
So something great about the new kill streak is that it requires less kills to achieve the benefits. So without any kind of perks or anything, it takes 2 kills to activate that first kill streak, which is a shield. So with assault, because we have access to the core right here, it's going to be the Berserker Rage. It halves your amount of kills you have to get in order to unlock that military support. So if you get 1 kill, you're going to have a shield. That pretty much gives you cover from anything. I mean, unless they run around or behind you. So using a grinder behind that shield is really going to help you out with taking down all enemies, including Marauders, that move very quickly. Let's see. I guess the next class we could talk about is going to be Sniper. And I know you, Crank, you have a lot to talk about in terms of Sniper. Sniper is typically a one-shot kill weapon. The Marauder kind of changes things a little bit more, though. Don't you think?
It changes things a lot, to be honest. You need to have different core, like people that used to use like different cores. They're gonna have to use a specific core like combo to be able to one-shot Marauders. Basically, here's the thing: if you're the type of player that likes to use BSW or IMPS, basically the bolt-action rifles, the best 2 bolt-action rifles in the game, you don't at all. So basically, here's the thing: you're using the IMPS. You have to use the flash either because it provides you the max damage. Okay. Other than that, you would have to use the armor piercer core with the IMPS, which is gonna guarantee you being able to one-shot any Marauder, whatever he has. Like if he's using Paragon, if he's using cores, it doesn't matter. If you want to be like extra careful about it and take caution, you can use high powered as well. You have two slots. Let's say you're using a tier 5 armor. You have 4 call slots, and 2 of them are offensive, where you can put one of them is a Joker and the other one's offensive. You can put armor piercer and high powered, and that way when you one shot the Marauder, you'll be able to get them. When you shoot the Marauder, you'll be able to get them one shot, guaranteed. Same thing goes with the BSW, but like as I said, you just make sure you're using Flash Hider, because Silencer is not a viable option against Marauder. It's not gonna help you. You're just gonna get a hit marker, and you're gonna be raging because he's 30% health and you died.
Yeah, 35%.
Basically.
35%. Yeah, absolutely. flash hider is kind of a necessity, and that brings another issue in terms of sniping. When using a sniper like a bolt action sniper, like the IMP or the BSW, if you're using a flash hider, it does reveal your location on the map, and if you miss, you pretty much die.
Yeah,
so
you're pretty much dead.
So you don't. You want to be a very accurate and good. You want to be a good sniper. It's now no longer a hey, let me rush and try to snipe this guy down. It's like a hey, I need to aim. Be very precise and methodical with each one of my shots. I need to camp. I need to slightly peek. Basically, it forces people, in a silver lining, it forces people to utilize sniper the way it was intended to be used, by peeking and taking advantage of small viewpoints, and killing enemies that way. You can't just rush out in the open with a sniper and just let loose, like you could with a lot of other classes. I saw someone mention the Vice earlier.
No.
Well, the Vice has a pretty awesome rate of fire. I've used it against the Marauder players. It's viable, but you still can't really just run around and shoot with it, especially because the Vice isn't very good when you're not scoping. So you're going to want to be scoped in for all your shots for the Vice, and that can kind of leave you open to your enemies around you. So just something to kind of keep in mind when using the Vice is that you really got to work as a team, and again, get those viewpoints, get those distant kills. You're not trying to rush and destroy people, that way.
See, here's the thing about the Vice and Marauder in general. If you're playing against a Marauder player, usually like in high tier lobbies, Platinum League, Diamond League, stuff like that, Marauder can kill you pretty quickly, especially if they're using like Hands of Gas and Pole, Rock. Like once you're in their line of sight, you're dead. So if you're gonna be using something like the Vice or the Dreadeye, it's gonna be taking you like 1 or 2 shots it's gonna be taking like 2 to 3 shots to actually kill them. Since the Marauder and he has more defensive perks and cores, it's gonna be harder for you to kill him one shot. And to kill him before he gets the chance to shoot at you. Because once he starts shooting, unless you like do some voodoo magic or like disappear in front of him, put down a smoke grenade or something, be like a ninja, and just disappear in front of him, you're dead, man. So basically, the best thing is just bolt action, because once you see them, one shot, they're dead. They're gone.
Well, the only problem I see with that is if you're gonna be
if you're not accurate, it's gonna be a problem.
No, that's true, and we're saying this, basically assuming that whoever's using a sniper knows how to use a sniper. Well, if they kill one, what are they going to do? There's going to be another one behind it. Using a weapon like the Vice, the advantages of using a weapon like a Vice are that there really is no recovery time. You keep on going. And if you're facing Marauder, and I think of SB squad battle a lot whenever I think about facing Marauder, because that is the most popular and probably the most overpowered class at this current state of the game, and everyone utilizes it because of it. If you're using a class like Vice, which I do utilize Vice sometimes in squad battle. When I also utilize an IMP, but when I utilize Vice, I'm behind all my friends. I'm in the back, just trying to weaken the enemies down. But I do get quite a bit of kills.
As a sniper in general, you're not meant to push. You're not meant to be in the front lines. The front line is meant to be assault, recon. Recon is going to be the backstabber. He's going to be running around and trying to get the flanks from behind. You're the sniper. You're meant to be in the back. You're meant to be giving info with your evil eye and trying to get anyone who pushes the front lines and tries to kill your friends.
Right.
You're in the back trying to shoot.
But
basically,
something I've noticed with a lot of players is that they don't utilize sniper in that way. So that's probably where a lot of the people who complain about the class. There are a lot of snipers who hate Marauder class. A lot of people don't dislike the class. I'm okay with it. I think it is overpowered currently, and I'm not really sure what to do about it, aside from maybe nerfing some of the perks, if even nerf it. But a good counter is not rushing with IMP against a bunch of Marauders, maybe. The counter would be utilizing Sniper the way it was intended to be used, and going from there. If you're going to rush, you want to use something like a grinder, and maybe this next class, Commander, which I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Commander. I've been kind of playing with it recently, in ESL matches. But hey man, you gotta do. And
Severance, man.
And the reason, the golden severance though, man. Hey, look at that, it's shiny. Not everybody has that.
Yeah, it costs a lot too. It costs a bit too much.
Hey, you sound like a hater right now. Let's not be a hater.
I'm not gonna spend my ESL winnings on a golden weapon, especially when I don't use it. I'd rather spend it on IBS.
Hey man, look at the credits. I'm okay. I'm doing just fine.
You do you, man.
Oh yeah. The only reason why I mentioned Commander is it's the Commander's slow as heck, but the shield really helps you out. The perks of the class allowing shields to bounce off bullets, bullets to bounce off shields. Whew. Bullets to bounce off shields are really helpful.
Wait, what? Bullets to bounce off shields?
Yes, the ricochet ability.
Oh yeah.
They have a 25% chance to ricochet back into the people. So that's something that's kind of helpful in kind of taking those bullets. It also provides your I just saw this, multiplayers with a additional 5% bullet protection. That's pretty huge if you think about it.
Wait, how much? 5%?
5%. I mean, 5% sounds like small. Now that you said it like that.
No, that's good. That's actually good.
When you say it like that, it sounds like it's nothing. But no, 5% to all your
teammates.
Yeah, around you.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty awesome. Like that. So that being said, Commander is really great because you can push without basically committing suicide. So yeah. Weapons to use
know about.
Huh?
Here's one class that people should know about.
Wait. We're not done. We're not done with this class. We're still on this class. We're still on this class, man. Severance is good. It's like a shotgun. It's kind of like the DBS. I mean, I wouldn't know. I've definitely not been using it recently. It has really it's a good weapon because it's about like I'm gonna say like a 3 to 4 hit kill against Marauder. And if you're fast enough, you should be able to take them down pretty quickly. Also, the prestige weapons for the class have a relatively high rate of fire, as you can see, with very decent damage. So you can definitely do well with a combination of that shield and these very decent weapons against the Marauder class. Again, if you use the class correctly, meaning you keep the shield up whenever they're running at you. You rush at the opportune times, and you work as a team. Again, all the things I've mentioned, except for maybe Grinder, really relies on you working as a team and playing strategically, and you can really take down a Marauder team that way. And I guess we can talk about what classes you want to talk about. Let's go.
Recon.
Oh,
Recon.
I don't think
Recon has been in the shadows for a while because
Recon not a while. Maybe I'm gonna say like 7 months. It's not been that long.
Listen,
don't need to be dramatic.
Here's what happened with me. A couple of weeks ago, I was playing and I picked up someone's firecracker, okay? And they were playing Marauder. The whole lobby was playing Marauder, having fun and all. And I did amazing with the firecracker. I was amazed at how much damage I did to a Marauder in the back.
So because you did amazing one match?
No, not in one match. I didn't finish DulZi. Come on, you hate Recon so much. I swear to God.
I don't hate Recon. I actually used to be fun fact. Used to be a really big Recon player.
Why are you not?
Used to
Why
be
you don't believe in recon?
used to be a pretty decent recon player. Fun fact. Haven't used it in probably 2 years. But I used to be a really good recon player. Also used to be a decent KOG player. Not amazing, but I used to be decent with a silencer. And those are the classes I used. But no, recon, I don't have hate towards recon. I just don't know if I'd use it against Marauder, personally.
Well, here's the thing. There's one perk that it has, which is like, hold on, let me find it. Yeah, side effects, okay? It's like the 5th perk from the left. So, if you rank it up to rank 2, 40% extra damage when shooting enemies from behind. Do you realize how much that is? 40% extra damage, you're downing them in less than half the magazine. With the firecracker. It's pretty good. Especially, like, the thing about recon is that it has good cores like the seer and the infiltrator. And most Marauder players are not really good players, so they wouldn't tell an infiltrator player from their actual teammates. Okay, I'm just saying. So if they're using infiltrator and firecracker, they can just push back from behind them and destroy them. They're just gonna empty the entire magazine into like 3 backs, and there you go. Half of the team is down, and they're all Marauders.
I mean,
and then you can just pick up their weapon with recon.
I mean, yeah, with Oni and recon, you mean? And that goes to another point though. That reload core for Marauder really makes it, man. I mean, if you don't use that reload core, the fast reload core, I mean, yeah, you kill an enemy fast, but guess what? You're pretty much dead if there's someone else behind them, because it takes you forever to reload those weapons with the, animation. I mean, it doesn't really do. I mean, I don't know about Firecracker in particular, because I have not used Recon. I have seen Whisper being used a little bit. Have I seen someone using Whisper and carry? I can't really say that. Is Infiltrator useful? Sure. Is Impedum a thing? Absolutely. So that's where I think that Recon's okay, but because of Impedum is still a thing, and Recon is an SMG still, so it is a short-range weapon. You're gonna definitely have to be extremely quick, really aim for the head, and pray they don't turn around and destroy you in half a second. So I mean,
something else about snipers that I think we forgot to touch on.
Mm-hmm. So are we agreeing or disagreeing that Recon is good for this class?
Recon is pretty good. I personally agree with my.
You stand by that statement.
Recon
All right, man, no problem. I'm gonna try to use Marauder, and you can use Recon. We'll see what happens.
You do you, man. I'm gonna use Recon. But here's the thing. You touched on sniper before, but you didn't touch on a certain point. Some snipers, when they're peeking out, a sniper's hiding behind cover. When he peeks out, he peeks his entire body out and then leaves some space.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Well, not necessarily, but most of the snipers do that. Okay, he peeks out, his entire body's outside the cover. He's shooting, he shoots the shot, he misses. Now what? His body is completely exposed. He has no way to go back. Then it's gonna take him a long time to go back. By the time he goes, sniper or the Marauder, because they're both quick. So here's the thing. They shouldn't peek that far outside. They should only peek where they can see how much, they can see enough of the enemy, their side, their shoulder, their elbow, a place where they can shoot and go back. So because here's the thing, if you don't expose that much of your body, the enemy won't be able to see that much of your body either, and not that much of your hitbox is going to be available. Therefore, he's going to have a hard time killing you, and you will have an easy time killing him because it's going to be easier for you. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I actually did cover that earlier. I said you got to use sniper like it's supposed to be used. Meaning that, I mean, and that's a good point, but and that kind of more touches up what I said. You want to take advantage of viewpoints. You don't want to expose your whole body. You want to take advantage of the little crevices, the little corners, the little cracks, so you can kill enemies without them even knowing you're there. And if you shoot, they're going to see you on the map, but they're not going to immediately see you out in the open. So if they just start firing in the direction, they probably won't hit you. So that's something good kind of to brush up on in terms of sniping. That's really how snipers should be used. Sniping should be used like in really a lot of first-person shooters. Does it get used that much in MC5 particularly? No, and I think that's just because we have smaller maps, and a lot of people, the games are so fast-paced, a lot of people don't think to do that. But you provide a good point, because in ESL you kind of see more of that with the more experienced players who know the maps very well, taking advantage of the viewpoints. But then again, there's no Marauder in ESL. So whenever you see something like that, you're going to see that from a more experienced sniper who knows exactly what they're doing. So yeah. Another class. I think this is the last class. I think that can. I'm going to say support's not great for Marauder. Simply because
support doesn't do well against Marauder.
No, even though they buff support, it's a great class. Just I wouldn't like run around with a LMG and try to take down too many SMGs, personally. But I think that the Sapper class is not so bad, man. Against it.
Sapper. I didn't try Sapper, to be honest.
So
in any of the matches.
So
I have a personal vendetta against that class.
So I will tell you that I did try Sapper out last ESL. And I just,
ESL, okay.
Yeah, no, and just to kind of play around. Because a lot of people don't use a lot of people don't think to use like the stationary turrets, like the shotgun turret. And Nav mentioned it. Issa Nav in Discord mentioned that. He's getting mad because we were talking bad about the Shred. We're not talking bad about the Shred, man. It's an awesome weapon. It's great where it is right now. It still does well in all matches. I just wouldn't necessarily rush around with that if a bunch of people are pulling out too many SMGs.
Yo, shout out to Nav, man. I love this Shred, especially with Silencer and Holographic Dot. Just pop heads with it. I love the sniper.
I've been trying that out, and it is good with Silencer. But back to Sapper. People don't think to use those stationary turrets like the shotgun turret. Man, that thing's like a 2 to 3 hit kill. Like,
yeah, the shotgun turret is pretty OP, and it pisses me off most matches.
And it has the ability to be able to go upside down and stuff. Like, people won't even see it; they're dead. I mean, that's important. That's huge, and it's really important in those close range maps where Marauders do really well. You can just throw a shotgun turret up. And most people aren't thinking, let me look up at the ceiling when I turn around the corner. No, they're thinking to aim down and shoot you in the head. So a lot of times they'll get caught off guard, especially because you can lay 2 turrets down with the Sapper class, the stationary ones at least, or most of them. You can lay them down.
Turret.
I'm sorry.
The stun turret.
The stun turret's good. And it slows their rate of fire. Cool. And also the grenade of the Sapper class, that ability where it can throw a Frost Blast grenade and lower the movement by 35%. I don't know if you tried using Marauder whenever someone's thrown one of those at you. I have, and it's definitely noticeable. 35% is a whole lot. Really, really, really messes with your gameplay. So Sapper is something good to kind of touch up on. Again, like I used it in last ESL. I actually did pretty well. Didn't do too bad. I think I didn't quite carry, but I was up there, maybe number 2. So it has some viability in like all areas. It still could be used very tactfully. You don't have to run around with a shoulder gun and a stacker, and like I am, right there, and do well. So something to point out. And I'm also gonna say Morph doesn't do that well against does not do that well against Marauder, even though it has that shield, that defense, pretty great defensive abilities. The most overpowered weapon in that class is going to be the LAK, and it kind of acts like a vice.
It's the only good weapon in the in the Morph class.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we'll say that. It's probably the best competitive-ish type weapon. If you were going to play against someone who was good, and you really wanted to use Morph, that would be the class you'd use. LAK. Okay, so Nav mentions that LAK is good at a distance. That is true. It is good at a distance. But Um, it doesn't have the same ability that Vice has access to. I mean, the Vice has a faster rate of fire. I believe it has a higher. I know it has higher. I mean, armor piercing capabilities, and you can actually see the enemies around the map without, And with the LAK, I mean, yeah, you kind of have the aim assist type thing, but it still doesn't give you that same advantage as a sniper would. Bounty. As for bounty, there's so many classes in this game, which is great. Lots of options. As for bounty, I would say the Ver power is decent against it, but it wouldn't be my go-to. Like, I would not, if I were like see like someone in a match and be like, oh, look, a Marauder, let me just pull out a laser weapon. That wouldn't be my initial reaction when I see someone using something like that. But the Ver power is still good. Definitely viable. It's a good weapon in general, but it's not my go-to, especially because it doesn't really have any range at all at a certain point, and it just doesn't kill us fast close range. I'm looking at the comments. I think I see someone talking about the ERG. No, the
ER-15.
ER-15. I disagree. I don't think that's a weapon I would run towards.
Wait,
where is it?
ER-15.
ER-15.
ER.
Yeah, the one that it recently had a golden weapon.
Fixed.
It's okay, but it's not something. It's not good enough to go against Marauder. I mean, it has very decent damage and whatnot. We can take a look at it if you guys want to, but I mean, it doesn't have like amazing damage or anything like that. It has very good damage, but it's not a weapon I would think to pull out. I mean, 48 is pretty solid damage, but it's not something I would think to pull out when facing someone with a dual wield SMG that has a ridiculous rate of fire. So
the thing is, the rate of fire of the ER is slow too.
It is. It's. I mean, it's. Yeah, it's low for the damage. It's okay. I mean, it's not. Like I said, again, it's not something that I would sit there and it would not be the first thing I would pull out if seeing a Marauder class. Let me change this back to sniper. Yeah. See, Mixar is picking up again, talking again about the recon picking up the weapon. That's still cool. Again, Marauder weapons aren't as OP in other classes' hands as it is in Marauder, just because of that quick reload core. Is that what it's called? Quick reload, fast reload. Sorry. And yeah, and then the last thing, of course, to counter Marauder is going to be Marauder itself. Pulling it out's going to be great against Marauder, and yeah. So those are the things I think that will mostly counter that class. The classes, I think all the classes have a way to counter it, except support, morph. And I'm gonna say
each class has its own unique way of countering the Marauder.
I don't think so though. I don't think support really has a unique way of countering Marauder.
Well,
I don't think you can even call that counter,
obviously.
Or even morph. I wouldn't even consider that a way to counter Marauder. I mean, it has some good weapons, but it's not something I would use to pull out. Even I'm gonna even say recon's not something I would be like, okay, I see someone using Marauder, let me just pull out that recon and run it behind them real fast and hope I can kill them fast. I mean, Nav mentioned using Scorcher on support. I mean, Scorcher on recon, and Scorcher's great on recon, I think too. But it's still not. It wouldn't be my go-to. I think if I wanted to kill something fast, I'd go for a grinder. Personally, I'd go for the IMP. I mean, I'd go for Marauder. and I'd maybe even go for Commander. And we forgot to touch up on Heavy. Heavy's not going to be good against Marauder just because it's not going to kill. You've got to, like, for using a DBS, you'd have to hit every single shot. Using the LSN, I don't think you can one-hit kill Marauder unless, like, they don't have that ability up, or, like, you're super duper close. I mean, I would not, and in terms of using the explosive rounds, it wouldn't be that useful against it either. So,
well, I want to touch on some stuff that
I didn't touch up on.
Other classes need to use. Like, when you're talking about Grinder, even if people use Grinder, you need to use it in a certain way. Like, when people use Grinder, they don't aim for the head when they're against the Marauder. You don't know that the most vulnerable place in the head, in the body is the head. You have to aim for the head. You have to know the position of the head, because here's the thing: all the armors in MC5 are the same height. Okay, so
well, armors don't affect height. Actually, that's probably the best way to put it. Armors do not change height, guys. Which is great. And actually, I disagree with you. Whenever I use a Grinder, I aim straight for the head. I don't care what you're using.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to aim for the head. Like, stop aiming for the body.
I mean,
like, it's good against other, like, classes, but against Marauder, it's gonna be easier for you and more efficient for you to, like, down a Marauder if you aim for the head only. What else?
Okay, I mean, so some people disagree with my statement about Heavy and Marauder because of the durability of Heavy. Let's pull it up because I do have a Heavy loadout. Heavy has some great durability. There is no disagreement there in terms of its durability and being able to run around quick. Great. But what I was simply stating is that you're going to have so many times to hit a Marauder user and kill them. You'd have to like literally not miss. Like with a DBS, you have 4 shots. You cannot miss with those shots, or you're going to die. The LSN, you have to be super duper up close, and you might have to actually pull out your secondary weapon to kill them. You actually will have to pull out your secondary weapon to kill them. And with a buckshot,
I guess you can kill them with the LSN if you hit the head.
I mean, you can kill them with anything if you hit the head, though. I mean, if you hit the head. But you gotta hit the head. And those things move, they move super fast. Like, someone mentioned the buckshot because it does have a pretty decent, has a really, really large clip. 20 in the magazine, that's pretty good. But I don't think it kills it fast enough. I think by the time, like, you're already trying to, shoot at them over and over and over, they would have already shot you in the head themselves, and you would already be super dead. So, I think if someone's an inexperienced player, you might do well using a buckshot, or even a DBS. But if you're gonna have to use, if I were to have to pick one weapon to use for Heavy, I'd probably pick the LSN. Hope to God I hit them square, in the face, and then probably even without even looking to see if they're alive or dead, pull out my slack or something and just start firing the ground next to me. I mean, that's really what I'd do if I were to have to use Heavy against a Marauder user.
Don't start with the slack.
Huh?
Make sure you don't suicide with the slack.
Don't go start with the slack.
Don't suicide with the slack.
I mean, hey man, you got to get a kill. You won't suicide because of Heavy's durability. It is made to where like you're not gonna die from that unless you like really like you're already low or you're really trying to like just shoot right at your feet. But you really don't need to. So I mean, I guess kind of what you said is true. I'll revert back and say kind of what you said, where most classes do have a counter for this one class is it's a thing, but there are definitely better classes to use for countering Marauder than some.
If you're looking for a quick kill, then just go for Sniper. Just put on your IPS, put on your cores, and just go for like quick pops. You're gonna get them killed pretty easily.
Or use the hands and grit.
It's one shot. No, what?
Or use the hands and grit. Marauder.
Well, you can counter Marauder if you use Marauder, DulZi. Of course you can.
Yeah, exactly. That's a quick kill right there, my friend.
Wait, no.
Well, I see people talking about...
It would take a bit longer to kill like another Marauder with Marauder.
No, it wouldn't. Oh my gosh, no, it wouldn't. I disagree. I'm just gonna disagree with everything you say. No, I really.
If you hit the head.
I mean, yeah, but look at that perk where you hit the head. Remember that? It does more damage. Bullseye, man. They have 10% for 20% more damage. Use a silencer. It's SMG. I mean, look how many bullets they technically have in the clip. 30. 30. Then in cast and pole, it's going to be like 40. Actually, that's not even the full size mag with the cast and pole. I mean,
yeah, true that.
I'm looking at people talking about removing Marauder. I covered this last podcast, and I'm going to say it again. I don't think I really need to say it a third time. It's not going anywhere as of right now. There's no point in removing a class. I think that the addition or the idea of adding a dual wielding pistol class is a cool idea, but it might need to be tinkered with a little bit in order to get to where all of us are happy. Although I know that some people just aren't happy in general. So, it is what it is.
I mean, the Marauder is a good idea. It's a good
concept.
Holding two weapons, going Rambo, being like that. But like, it's the damage, and like other players want to use other classes. They don't want to use only Marauder.
Man, I'm the guy who wanted the Samurai Sword class, but the dual wielding class is a cool concept. You can go Rambo in there. You can rush with really little repercussions. Like I said, it might need to be tweaked a little bit to make it to where it needs to be. I think the concept itself is a cool concept, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on the Game Loft or MC5 live stream. It's a cool concept, but
Dareen said something on Discord that I need to touch on.
What?
Dareen said something on Discord that I need to touch on. He said, just make Marauder one shot for weapons like BSW and IMP with Paragon. You can one-shot Marauder with weapons like BSW and IMP, even if they're using Marauder.
We covered it earlier. Yeah, we definitely covered it earlier, like 30 minutes ago. You can. It does require you to sacrifice some core slots, but it's
2 core slots if you're gonna use BSW.
Yeah.
1 core slot if you're gonna use IPS.
And it's a one-hit kill if you use the high power with a flash hider. That's really important because I know I've played against Aaron, known him for a minute. And I'm pretty sure, I want to say he uses silence BSW. That's just not going to work. We used to work well in SB. Won't work well anymore. Should we buff the damage of these snipers? I don't know. What would counter them then? Wouldn't that make those snipers really OP? I mean...
Listen.
Oh, listen.
DulZi, let's face one fact.
Okay, let's face it.
Okay?
Let's talk about it.
The Marauder was made to counter Sniper because Sniper was getting out of control at some point in the game.
Okay. Ooh, new topic.
I feel like every Discord and on YouTube and on Facebook will agree with me that the snipers got out of control at some point with the no scopes, with how quickly they were with Imperium and the Red Eye and Vice. It had to be stopped at some point. But I feel like this is an overkill for Sniper. Like, okay, Sniper is killed now. It can't do that much. You can't no scope anymore. It's only skills to use Sniper. It's enough. Marauder should take a break from destroying snipers.
So, I think the only problem I have with that statement is that's assuming that Gameloft responds to one class by creating a new class, and I think the old-fashioned way for responding to a class was really nerfing it, and they really have tried to do that. If you look at the past update notes, I think it's the past 2 update notes, but I know the last update they did nerf hipfire. Some people say, "Oh, it hasn't been changed." No, they did. No, they definitely did. Is it still effective? Does it still work? Yes, but they definitely nerfed it. It's not as good as it used to be. Do they need to nerf it more?
It needs to be point blank to work.
Yeah, it does need to be point blank to work. So you have to be up close and personal. And that sounds pretty fair to me as a sniper. Do I really want to scope into someone when they're right in front of me? Not really. So yeah, I don't think it was made to counter sniper. I think that it was made because they wanted there wanted to be a new idea for a class, and a dual wielding class sounds really cool on paper. And the concept is really cool, not on paper. Like in the game, it's a cool class. You feel like a badass with those two SMGs. But the problem right now that people are facing is the overall consensus is it is a better class than all the other classes out there. It's overpowered. And again, I think that they nerfed the rate of fire last update, so they are working towards it. For those of you guys who are, oh my God, Marauder, they are nerfing it. They like I said, they nerfed it last update. They nerfed the rate of fire, but I think they should look at the abilities of the class if they were to do anything about it. And in the meantime, there are ways to counter the class. You don't have to use Marauder or quit the game or break your iPhone. Like there are definitely ways to counter the class. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Casual gamer mentioned Paragon. A lot of us have Paragon, so playing Marauder, a Marauder using Paragon is going to be the same to me as a Marauder using Elite Nova or Kanata. I mean, it's not going to really affect me. They're going to die maybe from one or two more bullets instead, from like a grinder or something. I mean, it's not a big deal. Oh, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
So I want to touch on something with sniper because I feel like snipers, since they got the Marauders there to be against them, I feel like players that play SL need to know about this too, and snipers need to know about this. So the Spectre core, right? The core that makes you semi-opaque for like an amount of time.
Yes,
whenever you scope in.
Here, I'll pull it up for people to see it. It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Gives you HP.
Exactly.
It gives you HP, and it gives you even more defenses whenever you're scoped in. 15% reduced damage from incoming. I'm sorry, it doesn't give 15 HP. That's the Ambusher. My bad, guys. It's the core that boosts your defenses whenever you're scoped in. Also makes you semi-transparent, which for what you were stating earlier, the peeking thing would be excellent for. Is that what you're about to get to? Frank?
Yeah, I'm here. Your voice cut out. What did you
I'm
say?
sorry. I'm saying that, what's it called? The Spectre core, I said that it is the one where it reduces 15% from incoming damage and it makes you semi-transparent. So it would work well for the peeking strategy, which is what all snipers should use. As you stated earlier, is that what you're trying to get to, essentially?
Yeah, but there's something else. So, with Evil Eye, I'm pretty sure not a lot of people like Evil Eye in this chat. Like, there's old pros, they've had their controversy about Evil Eye and they don't like it. It's basically like almost wall hacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a fix for wall hacks, guys. If you don't want the enemy to see you when you're aiming, just use Spectre. If he tries to see you with Evil Eye, he won't be able to see you. DulZi, I sent you a video stream. Can you pull it up, please?
In the past, no, I actually won't be able to pull it up. That video, it was a really short clip and the quality just wasn't good, and I really couldn't pull it up here on the Airstream thing.
Okay.
But I know what you're referring to. If you scope in using Spectre, they won't be able to see. But you have to be scoped in the whole time. Like you literally. I mean, again, we talked about. Put subtitles in Spanish, DulZi. Again, we talked about how this game is very fast paced, and how snipers aren't really being used strategically. Well, because of the size, again, and I stated it was because of the size of the maps earlier. Well, if the maps are so small and the gameplay is quite fast, it is a little faster than I think a lot of first-person shooters are. What would make you think that people would stay scoped in the whole time? Like it seems very situational almost. You'd have to you don't even know whenever they have their Evil Eye activated on the opposite. On the opposing team, you have no idea when it is activated.
Well, here's the thing. Here's a similar scenario. Okay.
Okay.
You're in a match right now. You know that the enemy on the other side of the map, on construction site, you know the sniper's nest at the very front of the map. The enemy is standing right there with the device, and he's aiming. Okay. He's waiting for you, but he doesn't have the Spectre. Okay. But he has Evil Eye. He can see you through the map, through the wall. I mean, and you don't want him to see you through the wall because once you peek, you're gonna be dead. He's gonna shoot you with a device, and you're gonna be dead. You want to kill him quickly, okay? But he doesn't have the what's it called? The Spectre Core, okay? You can use your Evil Eye and scope in, and as you're scoped in, come out. You know where his position is because if you have Evil Eye and he doesn't have Spectre, okay? So he's scoping in, but he can't counter your Evil Eye. But you can counter his Evil Eye because you have Spectre, okay? So once you peek out, he won't expect it. He won't have the time to react, okay? You peek out, you shoot him. You're gonna have the peeker's advantage when
I see.
when
I see what you're saying.
You get what?
I see what you're saying. No, I understand it. What you're saying does make sense. I get it. Continue. I'm sorry. I was just agreeing.
Basically, you're peeking out. You're gonna have enough time to kill him before he even gets to see you because peeker's advantage. You get more advantage when you peek out compared to him when he's just scoped in waiting for you. He's not gonna have enough time to react. Whereas you know where he is with the Evil Eye. You're gonna come out and shoot and go back really quickly. It's gonna be over for him. So yeah, I guess that's about it for the Sniper Core that I want to talk about.
Yeah, we talk about, and Crank's talking about Sniper a lot because and he's talking, and I'm talking about Sniper a lot is because me and him are primarily snipers in the game. Like we think sniping is we've been using it for however long, and it is our go-to class. So that's why we mention it, and it is a quick, efficient way to kill this class off. But I wanted to mention other classes because there are several ways to counter this class. Again, without being frustrated and without crying about people having to remove into something. Trying to remove some. I'm looking at. Oh, I don't have access to moderator chat on YouTube. Does anyone have any questions regarding?
I would say if you're a Marauder and you want to counter sniper, I guess you could just always push them, because if you catch them off guard, they're dead.
For sure.
If you catch a sniper off guard, they're definitely dead.
Oh yeah, that's really with any class. Like if you capture anyone off guard, they're dead.
Yeah.
In general.
If you're a sniper though that wants to kill a Marauder or not get caught off guard, Marauder is rushing you and you don't know what to do. Take cover, run back. Don't try to shoot them because you're probably gonna miss in the panic and they're gonna kill you. They're gonna go up there and kill you. I would say run back and look for the nearest cover, okay? If there is no near cover, then go back a bit and hold the angle where they would come from and try to shoot them there. If you hit them and get a hit marker or miss, you can always pull out your pistol and try. At least if you don't kill them, you would do enough damage. And with assault, I would say the same thing. Just hold the head position. As I said, all armors are the same height, so just hold the position. Know where the head is gonna be with your scope, and keep the aim there. And once he pushes, just flick towards the head and keep holding on the head and shooting it until you eventually kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the head is always the weakest position in anyone.
For sure. And those higher damage weapons that we've all discussed, pretty much 1 to 2, they're dead. 1 to 2 shots, they're gone. So yeah. Well, if you guys have any questions regarding it, I'm gonna kind of look and see if you guys have any comments. I've kind of been reading it throughout this chat, but I also want to let you guys know that moving forward with our podcast in general, if you want to be on it, if you have any comments, if there's something in particular you want me to talk about or want me to talk to a certain person, feel free to let me know on Discord, or feel free to post in the comments what you guys want to see in YouTube and in Facebook. I am looking at the comments at all the chats currently the whole time, and I'm really right now. I'm just going through the questions. Someone asked about the streams for. I kind of mentioned it. We talk about random topics that we think are really helpful with MC5 players, whether it be map vantage points, certain classes, certain weapons, how to achieve certain things that get credits. We talk about all sorts of stuff.
Some questions in the chat. Let's see. Is Game Loft listening to this podcast? Yes, they are listening to this podcast, and they do listen to your feedback, and they do care about the game.
Yeah,
Please stop your assumptions.
Yeah, and for the people commenting that, I don't like talking about that kind of stuff because I just think it's pointless. I'm a player. I get there's no benefit for me to do this except being able to communicate with you guys and you guys be able to communicate with me. I'm a very reachable guy on Discord, on Twitter, on all the platforms that it advertises. I'm very reachable, and I'll respond to any questions people have. I mean, my DMs aren't really private or anything like that. They're always open for new players. And Modern Combat is confirming that they're listening. I mean, Radu and Modern Combat people do look at what you guys post, and they do look at what we talk about. So this was a program, and I've talked about this a little bit, and I guess I'll talk about it again. This was a program that was created so that you guys can talk to the devs and the staff members more, I guess, in a different way, by going through me, who is a regular player, who is someone who knows the game, not just some random person that is just here to talk. Or I know the game just as well as most people do. I've been playing it for 4 to 5 years, and I try to get people who know a lot about the game. For example, Crank. Or, I had, several other streamers on here, or very knowledgeable people that I've met throughout, this journey playing this game. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to message me. Feel free to post on this podcast. This was really here. This is here more for you guys. I'm also on the forums too. I respond to the forums every now and then, but posting here on a podcast is a great way for me to see what's going on with you guys and see what you guys think, because I really am curious to see what you guys think and what you guys want to see here, or who you want to see. Someone mentioned me talking to Rado. I actually did that a couple episodes ago, and maybe it will happen in the future if you guys want it to happen, where Radu was on live stream with me and we both talked about questions. He is also on my Discord chat, and he's also on the YouTube and Facebook chat, so he'll reply. In terms of scrims today, I don't really have a lot of time for scrims. I think that's pretty much it. Got some stuff to do this evening, but if you guys want to contact me, feel free to contact me. Thank you, Crank, for being on this episode, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure, bro. Yeah, man. I like having this, banter with you, man. It's fun. You and I don't always agree, so it's even better. If we can actually have a real discussion on here. And this guy's a moderator on my server. I've known him for a while. He was on the first episode, and if you want to see him again, please let me know. And he I believe, aren't you starting up a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel, actually.
YouTube. Oh gosh, I got a big ol' paragraph for a comment. We want to add a
Oh.
5th core to Paragon.
A 5th core Paragon.
Shoot, man.
Listen, I want. Let me touch on this, please. Please let me. Touch
I guess we'll do that before we wrap up this podcast.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
Let me talk about.
Let's talk about the 5th core.
So the thing about Paragon, it has the best protection in the game. Okay, I'm talking like 45%. Hold on, let me check because I have the game open right now. Okay, 40% explosive damage reduction and 45% like projectile damage reduction. Okay, it has the best damage reduction in the game. Okay, other than including the damage, there is also that you have 4 Joker core slots. Okay.
And for those,
you can have all offensive, all defensive, all utility. You name it, man. You can be free with your cores. It doesn't matter.
For those of you who don't know what Joker core slots are, they allow you to use whatever you want in any of the slots. I disagree with the 5 slot thing, and I don't know if do you disagree.
I disagree. I definitely disagree.
I think
listen.
But you don't have Paragon, so that's
Paragon
probably
would be too OB if it had a 5th core slot. Like everybody's just gonna ask for a nerf, and it's just gonna get into that problem again. Well, people are asking for nerfs, and we don't want to get into that loop again.
Yeah, and I see the money comment. This is the only armor that has 4 Joker core slots. I mean, it's the only one where you can use whatever you want. You're free to use all defensive cores. You're free to use all offensive. It is still, with just 4 core slots, undeniably the best armor in the game. I don't think we need to add a 5th core to it because that just make it ridiculous. And I'm someone who has Paragon. I think that would be talking to the game. And I'm all for making the game fair. So yeah. All the other comments are related to ESL. I'm really not here to talk about ESL a lot. If you guys want to hear about all about ESL,
we should touch about ESL next time because I got a lot about ESL, man.
I plan on having actually having in the future. I don't know if it's going to be real soon. It could be as soon as next week. It could be later. I'm planning on having an ESL admin with me on this podcast. Yeah, I will have an ESL admin with me on this podcast. And so, any ESL questions you guys have, we'll be on here. Just ask you guys to be respectful because I do see a lot of comments towards admins in the ESL server. So it's going to happen at some point. How soon will it happen? We'll see. But yeah, I think it's good. I'm excited for that. So we'll talk about ESL next time, guys. Again, thank you guys for staying tuned in to this podcast. I really appreciate all you guys' input. Please DM me if you have any issues or if you want a suggestion for the game or something related to a podcast. I'm very, very, very easily communicate. I communicate very well, and it's very easy to get in contact with me, especially even though I'm a really busy guy. Same with Crank. Crank's a mod on my server. I'm sure he doesn't mind if you want to ask.
Please go ahead, DM me.
Yeah,
I'm online most of the time. Like I will reply to any questions, and I'll see what you guys have, and I'll forward them to DulZi myself if you want.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. You have 138 subscribers now, huh?
Yep. I'm a pretty slow uploader because my internet speed in where I live is not that good, but I'm planning on fixing it soon. Don't worry, I'll plan on fixing it soon, and I'll make live streams and upload more frequently.
And
once I get it fixed.
I posted a link to your channel on the YouTube chat, my Discord chat, and I'm also doing it on Facebook. So guys, please subscribe to him. Great guy, really good player, and the guy has a lot of.
Since you plugged my channel, I'm gonna upload a new SB video next.
You should, man. I mean, the guy's a good player and has a lot of really good input. I mean, me and him have discussions back and forth all the time. Not on camera, because they might not exactly be PG-13 rated. But we do have discussions. We're very passionate about the game. Knows a lot. So yeah,
You do too, man.
thanks, man. I appreciate your time with us, and I'll see you guys next week, next Wednesday. And again, DM me, post on my Discord, post on here, post on the Game Law forum. I want to know what you guys think. Want to know what you guys want. Thank you.